Hey team, how's everybody on this Tuesday morning? I just came from the gym, gonna do the live. I did total body today and there was chin-ups. Not gonna lie, they were challenging. So the gym doesn't have a chin-up bar. I have to take the Smith machine and load the rack to the very top so I can try and do a chin-up or a pull-up. And usually the Smith machine is busy, but this morning it was available. I haven't done them probably since I got here, and yeah, not gonna lie, it was tough. So, good morning. Hope you're having a good day so far. Coach Janet, I think most of you know me. For those who don't, I'm 61, postmenopausal. And for sure, I saw differences in my body, particularly the year I turned 56. Started noticing changes. That's when I really hit postmenopause. Performance issues, body comp issues. We know the story. Right. So we're all aware during menopause, our estrogen drops, and that actually affects a cascade of many other hormones. We're not going to touch on all of them today, um, but we are going to talk about cortisol, insulin, and gut health because the drop in estrogen affects all of those things and the solutions. I have 6 things I want to share with you guys. You can start using them right away today, and they're really going to make a difference in your life. And I want to hear from you, right? If you do it, I want to hear good or bad. Yeah, so estrogen drops, as we know. And everybody knows the ovaries produce the estrogen and they start producing, the adrenal glands produce them. But what you may or may not know is our fat cells also produce estrogen. So the body, the universe, thinks they're being clever and it creates more fat cells to try and produce more estrogen. And that's why we see weight, particularly around the belly, thighs, arms, in particular, even though we didn't change anything. Like, girl, your sense of humor, universe, we don't like this game you're playing with us. Not cool. Okay, so we all know what the problem is. We've all experienced, well, not all of us have experienced on the call, but if you're going through menopause, you are likely experiencing this. So we're going to talk about 6 things that you can start doing straight away. 1 and 2, most of you are probably already doing, but I am going to cover them because they're super important. Number 1 priority is to get more protein. Okay. Inside the program, your meal plans are already addressing you getting enough protein. So if you're following your meal plan or you're tracking your food, you want to get about 30% of your caloric intake in protein. So that's about a third of your plate. Most of us are not getting enough. The average woman, say the average American woman, and again, I know that I'm not talking to everyone on this call, breakfast is huge and even I've looked at some of my clients' logs, and breakfast is the point of where the protein is low, say 10 grams. You want to target 20 to 25 grams per meal. Now, if you're not logging your food, I would strongly suggest you start. You don't have to do it forever and always, but you do have to do it for a little while to really get that insight of what's going on and how much you are getting. Okay, so back to breakfast. Often we don't get enough. Even sometimes I see it in my clients. So what you can do is a Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Now, if you go for a dairy to get your protein, go for a full fat or a low fat. I would advise, and the naturopath that I work with says the same thing. In fact, she might have been the one that told me, don't use a no fat dairy product. They have stripped all the stuff we need. In fact, fats help us with our hormones. And so I get, if I can find full fat, I prefer it. So low fat, everything's stripped out. They take out the fat. They often replace it with sugars because it has to taste good somehow, right? Anyway, enough about that. Egg white for breakfast. Really good source of protein. So the healthy fat is in the yolk. The egg white has a lot of protein in it. So if I'm going to make an omelet, I'll often take a whole egg and then add additional egg white to it. I buy egg whites in the cartons. Now it's pasteurized, but I'm not I haven't died, so I'm good. Or a protein shake. And say you're having like sometimes people like those energy balls, which are great, good for you. Lots of good fats in there. You got your hemp, your chia, all that's great. But sometimes the protein only gives you like, I don't know, two might give you 10, 11, 12, 14 grams. But if you put a half a scoop of protein with some cocoa and some cinnamon and have that with your balls, then you would get like your 25 grams of protein for your breakfast. And studies show people who eat more protein have less visceral fat. So, very super important. Um, okay, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah, also eating protein. And this is something you may not know. If you're eating protein, you will burn more calories. About 3 times more, the body takes about 3 times more calories to digest the protein than it does a carb or a fat. So even by eating protein, you're going to burn more calories. It builds lean muscle and it can help improve our bone health. And we know as we head into menopause, we need to manage that bone, right? So super important. If you don't know how to track, let me know that you're not tracking or don't know how, and or ask your coach. I suspect everyone on this call is aware of how to track. Okay, get more protein. Number one. Number two, people lift weight. Oh my God, at least 3 times a week. All right, and I would like to see you work up to 5 times a week. Super important. Now, I realized we're all going to start at a different place. Like, was it Heather? Heather's doing upright rows with two 21-pound dumbbells, right? And she doesn't look bulky. She's lean. I was in again, I just came from the gym and there's a little Chiquita beside me. She's cute as button. And she's doing chest presses. I think she's got like 5 pounds. Girl, and I want to say something more stronger than girl, your purse weighs more than that. Like, and she's knocking out her reps, which is great. She's at the gym. I shouldn't judge. She's at the gym doing her thing, but there's no struggle. If you want to change your body and build some muscle and tone and manage your weight, your last 2 reps should be a struggle for you. And you know what? If 5 pounds is gonna, I remember coaching a person. She had just had breast cancer. Her breasts were removed, so she couldn't lift over her head. So 1 pound was a struggle. So if it's a struggle, that's a different story. But if you can knock out your 10 reps and you're like not a problem, you're not pushing yourself enough, and you're not going to adapt, and you're not going to see these changes that I'm talking about. So you need to lift weight again 3 times a week. If you're just starting, most of your workout or most of your movements might be body weight. All good if you're just starting out. But we want to progress to where we're lifting, substantial weight. And we want to work up to 5 times a week. It will help manage your weight, including your belly fat. It's going to help with bone density and building lean muscle. All that's going to boost your metabolism and help reduce fat everywhere. Okay, so I suspect, again, I think 1 and 2, most of the people on the call are probably already doing that. So let's get into maybe some of the things that we're not doing yet. So the third thing is to practice schedule intermittent fasting. And I call it scheduled because I'm not a fan of a long fast. In fact, studies show females don't respond very well to that. But what you might want to try is a 16-8 window. So fasting for 16 hours and eating in an 8-hour window. For me, every day that won't work. Like, depending what's going on, when I do my workout, I need a little sip of my shake because depending what's going on, I might do 14 or 15-hour fast. And if you're new to fasting, you can just pull it back slowly and gradually. Like, say it's only 12 hours right now that you're fasting. Well, maybe try 13 and then go to 14 and see how you feel and see how your body responds. As an aside, when we hit menopause, particularly post-menopause, we need about 200 calories less than we normally would, including myself. Like, I'm pretty active, and I did reduce my calories recently, actually, and I do feel better. So the intermittent fasting has a lot of benefits, actually. including that belly fat that we're talking about. It's going to help you lose weight. It will help manage those 200 calories that we need less of. It can lower blood pressure, improve cholesterol. It can reduce inflammation. Now, I didn't mention this, but inflammation tends to increase as we hit menopause. Again, they believe it's related to the reduced estrogen levels. It can help control our blood sugar, which is the insulin that we talked about earlier. And it can improve gut health. And I hope I mentioned that as we hit menopause, our gut microbiome is affected and our gut health can deteriorate, which leads to bloating, that menopausal belly, the gas, and all that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to manage that in a minute. But the scheduled intermittent fasting should help you guys. Oh, I also wanted to mention that I do have a gut health certification, and as part of the Ignite Menopause program, I'd like to address gut health on a bigger level. So look forward to that. Okay, so since we're talking about gut health, let's focus on the gut and how we might improve our gut microbiome. And one thing is to get more fiber. And again, most of us don't get enough fiber. And I have had a number of clients where they were compliant, their macros matched, they were doing their workouts, and they're not losing weight. And I'll look at their fiber. And again, that's in your logs. Let me know if you can't find your fiber intake in your logs, or your coach, they'll know how to find it. And yeah, so we increased her fiber and magically, she she started losing weight. You know what? I'm just going to look. I can't see if anybody's on. This happened last week too. I think someone waved at me during the live and I didn't get the notification. So I will look into that. And I apologize if you're asking questions. They are not popping up. But if you do have questions, you can always put it in the comments after and tag me so I don't miss it, and I will address your questions. Sorry, that was a little squirrel. Fiber, back to fiber. So as a female, we should be getting 21 grams of fiber a day. You can go to your logs and see where it is. It's always best to get your nutrients with food rather than supplementation. The fibers act as a prebiotic, and that's why it helps with our healthier gut. So it's things like berries have a lot. Apples are awesome. Even when I got ready for body comp, I wasn't allowed much fruit, but apples and berries were on the menu. Okay. Oh, and so was oatmeal. Oatmeal's great. Avocado, leafy greens, beans, of course. Now, if you are eating that and you aren't getting your 21 grams because of your macros or whatever, you can always supplement to get a fiber. Okay, number 5, again, this is your gut health, is to take a probiotic. Super important. I use a soil-based probiotic. They're a little hard to find in Canada, so if you can't find them, let me know in the comments. But they are amazing. In fact, they ran out. We couldn't get them last time we ordered, and we had to get something else. And Joe was like, his digestive system was off. I think he was constipated and he couldn't wait to get the soil base. In fact, we didn't even finish the other stuff we ordered. We went back to a soil base. Now, if you have allergies to the environment, like mold or anything like that, you might not want to do the soil based probiotic, but they are amazing to help. Well, any probiotic will help balance the microbiome, which should bring down the bloating, then the gas. It helps with the immune system. It can even help with the soil-based ones. Can even help with SIBO and other and digestive issues. But I love my soil-based probiotic, and that is going to help with your gut health, reduce that bloating, reduce that belly. All right. You still with me, everybody? I'm 14 minutes in. It's a long one today. The last one is to practice gratitude journaling. And it might sound kind of, ooh. I think if someone had said that to me 10 years ago, I'd just blow them off. Honestly, though, guys, the psychologists have learned that practicing gratitude and deep breathing can reduce our cortisol. And we've talked about, because estrogen is low. It does affect cortisol. It increases, which is your stress hormone. So it increases as we hit menopause. And they have found that deep breathing can reduce your cortisol levels by 40%. Now, this impacts the belly because around the belly button, there are 3 times more cortisol receptors than the rest of your body. So if you're stressed, you're going to hold fat, especially in the front of your belly, not so much at the sides, that's more of an insulin response, but right in the middle. If your belly is like big in the front, it could be bloating, but it could also be cortisol. And the deep breathing is so going to help. Okay. And I have clients who like they can't, I'd get them to deep breathe on the hour. Some of them are super busy. We would start at 6 on the hour, 10 deep breaths on the hour, and then improve their sleep and their belly. So, I forgot to mention something, and it's in the back of my mind. I don't know what it was. Oh, it was about insulin. Oh, I did want to share. So I'm backing up just a bit, if you can bear with me. So when I talked about lifting weight, when we're lifting weight, it also helps manage our insulin response. And I shared earlier that our insulin, we become more likely to be insulin resistant when we hit menopause, and that can lead to weight gain big time. So they did a study with diabetics. I should have checked. I don't remember if it was type 2 or type 1, but the diabetics did a weight training session, and for 2 hours after the weight training session, their blood looked like, I'll say normal for lack of a better word, but they couldn't tell that it was blood from a diabetic. So it's a very impactful, that weight training. I forgot to mention that, so I apologize. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I really do hope this helps somebody today. I would love to hear from you guys. Did you learn something? Are you going to try something? If you do try it, did it work or not? Like good or bad, I'd love to hear from y'all. And I apologize, I don't see the questions coming in. I got to look at that. So you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.